Did you ever work both jobs at one time?
Yes.
So I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you again. So what is the main reason you left the bartending job?
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth will help you.
Yes.
All right. All right, then, folks. I'm appointing Mr. Brem Hall, the attorney at Litem for your child. He's gonna make a recommendation about going forward. What he thinks is going to be in his client's best interest, especially as far as visitation, that sort of thing, and the circumstances. He doesn't represent you, either of you. He represents the child in the child's best interest. But this time, I want to go ahead and actually get some information from Mr. Burks as far as his what he's claiming that his earnings are based on the mom's claims that were pretty much hearsay. Anyway, Mr. Burks, the court will take judicial notice of the court file, and you were served with a copy of the paperwork in this matter, sir. And included in that package was a request for production of documents, which include two, and I'll quote both of you, income tax return for the previous 2 years, anything that you're doing, including the same of any doing business as or sole proprietorship, W-2s, 1099s, and K-1s for those years, and all payroll pay stubs for the prior 3 months. I'll get some testimony on whether or not you provided that information to the state, and if not, sir, how soon you can get that information ready so we can actually for a final and find out and figure out exactly what we're going to be doing going forward. So it's time, Ms. Taylor, I'll allow you to call Mr. Burke and recall Ms. Jackson before we finalize this, or before we finish up the temp today. All right, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Burks, you were not present at the last hearing. That's right?
No.
Okay. And so the judge is asking me, I'm going to ask you some questions regarding child support. So are you currently working?
Yes.
And where is it that you work?
Southwest Airlines.
What is it that you do for Southwest Airlines?
I'm a ramp agent.
A what? Ramp agent?
Ramp agent, yes, ma'am.
And how long have you been a ramp agent with Southwest Airlines?
A year.
And are you paid salary or hourly?
Hourly.
What is your hourly rate?
$19.45.
How many hours are you working?
30.
30 hours?
Yes.
Is there any reason you're not working 40 hours there?
I'm only part-time.
Do you have any other children outside of the child in this case?
No.
Do you have another job?
No.
Do you work at have you ever been a bartender?
Yes, I have.
Are you currently bartending?
No, I am not.
When is the last time you worked as a bartender?
Last year, 2024.
Where were you working last year?
Voodoo Room.
What?
Voodoo Room.
How much were you making there?
It was hourly as well. I was averaging 30 hours. $12 an hour.
Why did you leave the Voodoo Room?
To continue at Southwest.
Did you ever work both jobs at one time?
Yes.
So were you working 30 hours at Southwest Airlines and still working the Voodoo Room?
Yes.
So I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you again. So what is the main reason you left the bartending job?
I started working more hours at Southwest, so I stopped working at the bar to work at the airport.
Okay. And if the court orders you to provide those documents, would you be able to provide something at the next setting confirming what your hourly rate is at the Southwest Airlines?
Yes.
And have you done your W-2s from last year, or are you going to?
Yes.
You'd be able to provide those as well?
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry, real quick, sir, you got W-2s from both the Voodoo Room and from Southwest, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, then. Have you filed yet?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I have no further questions for Mr. Burks. I would pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Brem Hall, I know it's cold turkey on this one, sir, but obviously, but I'll give you the opportunity to ask any questions you think are appropriate at this point, and obviously you're going to get a chance to talk to both dad and mom in private, and actually probably visit with them on Zoom, well, at least for a Zoom review of their home. So, is there any questions you have at this time, Mr. Burks?
The court's reserving retro for later, right?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay, I'll my only question would have been as to that issue for right now. So
Okay.
I'll pass for now.
All right, Mr. Burks, I'm looking at you have been visiting with your son twice a month.
I've been visiting with him every week, 2 days a week.
All right, and has the mother been bringing the child down for those visits?
I have been picking him up from daycare.
Okay, and your daycare is located locally, correct?
Yes.
All right then. All right, sir. Here's the deal. Under Texas, under Texas, there's different standards for people who live more than 100 miles apart these days. I'm looking at the fact that the mom now is in Dallas County. Obviously, that's more than 100 miles from where you live at this time. So I'm looking at going ahead and at least I'm looking at still keeping a couple during the first, third, and fifth weekends of the month. I can still do that instead of doing that 1 week of the month at 100 miles. But I'm looking at going ahead and making the exchange point. She's the one that under the law, sir. The norm is you're supposed to pick the child up and drop the child off at her residence. Y'all were using the daycare. She has now moved. Now I gotta. Now the circumstances are that you're supposed to pick the child up at the beginning of visitation at her residence, and she's supposed to pick the child up at the end of visitation from your residence. Well, since y'all live those distances apart now, I'm looking at going ahead and making an exchange and the city of West at either the Starbucks or the police station. If I feel like the circumstances warrant the police station, I'll do the police station. And y'all and the ad litem will get you the addresses for that confirm that both of you are going to the same spot. So we're looking at having to change this thing around, sir. So I'm looking at going ahead and making that exchange there, unless the mom still wants to drive down and drop the child off at the daycare. But again, under the law, that's not required.
That's fine. Can I request the police station?
Okay. All right, then we'll keep. I know I got the West Police Station down on the Rolodex somewhere, but I haven't seen my Rolodex in a while. So anyway, we'll go ahead and use the West police statement police station. Now here's the deal, folks, and I'm gonna check with mom here in a minute. We do this on Fridays. It's the exchange is supposed to take place at 6 p.m. What time do you usually get off? What's your schedule like on Friday, sir?
I work on Fridays. That's why we had the arrangements that we had. I don't get off until 1 in the morning on Fridays.
All right, and do you work on the weekends?
Yes, I do, sir.
So, what time do you go to work on Saturday?
I am scheduled from 5 p.m. to 1 in the morning.
Okay, so that's your normal schedule. So if I was to move the exchange to the police station at West, gonna be a tough one on you, sir. But it's at 9 a.m. On Saturday morning. Will that work?
Yes.
Okay, and the drop off will be. And so, what time you say you work again?
5 to 1 in the morning. 5 p.m. to 1 in the morning.
Wow, that's a rotten schedule. All right. Well, normally the pickup and drop off usually is to 6 to 6, sir. So I'm probably looking at you get to see your child on the like say Saturday at 9. The drop off probably needs to be somewhere closer to noon if you're going to get back to work on. And you do work on Sunday nights also.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
All right. What days are you off?
I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
What day was she previously driving him down?
I was currently picking him up from the
You know
daycare on
that?
Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I wasn't aware that she moved out. I wasn't aware that she had moved. I picked the kid up from the daycare, the kids at the daycare every day. So,
All right, ma'am. Is the child in Dallas with you?
The child is currently in Killeen. He dropped him off this morning at daycare.
Okay.
And I let Miss Taylor know that
Okay.
in our
All right.
first
So,
meeting.
all right, ma'am. So is the child actually living with you in Dallas at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. As explained, I have a telework job. So, and I let her know what the changes that they have going on, what was going on with that.
Okay. So are you now having to come back to the office full time or
That's still pending, sir.
I'm sorry?
It's still pending, sir.
All right. So for right now, are you in Dallas?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you have a residence in Dallas?
Yes, sir.
And you're operating from your residence right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then. And what are your hours on your as far as your job is concerned?
So I work from 7 to 4:30.
How? is someone driving the child down to Colleen every day?
Yes, I am. I was driving him down on the 2 days that he requested. I let Ms. Taylor know that.
Well, Judge, if I
Those-
may, I know, if I
He
may, Your
attends
Honor.
daycare and
Stop,
Colleen
stop.
Wait,
every
hold on a
day.
second,
Stop,
Mr.
stop, stop,
Burke.
stop, sir. It's not your turn, sir. That's not the way we work. This is a court.
If I may, and I realize Ms. Jackson keeps saying that she told me that, but she testified to all this at the last hearing.
I know.
Right.
Okay. Well, again, I thought, yeah, no, I forgot about it not being a normal weekend thing. She was doing this on Mondays, and man, when you were driving and dropping the child off, what was the time frame she was doing it?
So I would get up early, drive down, and in the morning before I would go to work.
Okay.
And I stated
Right, so
prior that I was paying for 2 daycares. I testified.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and make the I can still make the exchange on. You were dropping the child off on Tuesdays and picking the child up on Wednesdays.
Yes, sir.
Dropping off on Tuesday, what time?
Drop him off at the daycare at 8:50.
Right. And then pick the child and pick him up when?
I would pick him up in the afternoon on Thursday.
All right, so I'm looking at probably having to do you guys on those. Still use that Monday.
Does the court want to order that schedule to continue for at least a couple weeks until I can talk to him?
Yeah, but I'm looking at. I'm looking at mom not having to come all the way down to to the daycare to make the drop off at the West Police Department. Let Dad get up there. That's his day off, so obviously it worked for him. So
Can we
Judge,
maybe
may I?
come back
hold
in a couple of
Well,
weeks?
Judge,
after I
I'm
get a
sorry,
chance?
Mr. Brimhall, give me a second. Judge, could I call Ms. Jackson just to refresh the court and for Mr. Brimhall to hear what they were actually doing?
all right, go right ahead. Thank you.
Stay with call Ms. Jackson. Ms. Jackson, you testified previously, but Mr. Burks and Mr. Brimhall were not present. Does the child currently still have 2 daycares?
Yes, ma'am. I am providing 2 cares of daycares for him.
And is your intention, at least for the next couple weeks, are you able to continue both daycares?
That's unknown at this time.
You said that was a no?
That is unknown at this time.
Oh, unknown at this time. But do you have, are you planning on at least keeping the child in the Colleen daycare as well for the month of March?
That is unknown at this time.
All right. So why is the child currently back in Colleen?
Because I was able to telework, being that I'm the primarily one providing support for him. Telework makes me be at home, and I have some days where I have to go into the office. So those days when I would go into office, I will coordinate that with the daycare that was closest.
Right. So you're not sure that you'll be able to telework for at least the next month of March?
Correct. I'm not sure yet.
Right. So I know you previously testified you were wanting to move. Were you wanting to move the child to the Dallas daycare?
Correct.
What was the schedule that you and Mr. Burks were doing previously?
Mr. Burks will let me know whatever days he was available. He let me know per his request 2 days per week, and that would be the days that he was off, either Monday or Tuesday, or the current one that he is on Wednesday or Thursday.
Now, are those dates, the Monday and Tuesday, are those dates that you could come into Colleen and stay overnight until things change? So that the child could still go to the daycare, Mr. Burks pick him up as y'all did before?
Correct. That's the current accommodation that I'm doing for him now. Yes, ma'am.
And so the question is, if would you be able to do that at least for the next couple of weeks?
Yes.
Okay, so what time would you drop the child off at daycare on Monday at what time?
At 7 o'clock, ma'am.
And what time would Mr. Burks pick him up?
Whatever time Mr. Burks is able to. The daycare closes at 5:30.
So Mr. Burks would pick up from the daycare whenever he's available.
Mm-hmm.
Would he keep him overnight?
Yes, ma'am.
And he keep him overnight Monday. Would he return the child to daycare on Tuesday?
Yes.
And what time does the child have to be at daycare on Tuesday?
Before 9 o'clock.
So at least by 9 o'clock in the morning, he has to be at daycare.
Yes.
And then on Tuesday afternoons, did you pick up the child or did Mr. Burks from daycare?
On Wednesday, ma'am?
I'm sorry, Tuesday.
On Tuesday, he picks him up. He's currently on a Tuesday, Wednesday schedule he asked for.
Okay, I know, but we're talking about Monday and Tuesday. So if you bring him on Monday, he picks up on Monday after daycare. He returns the child Tuesday morning, and then would he pick up on Tuesday after?
Correct.
All right, and then how would you get the child on Wednesday?
I would pick him up from the daycare.
So Mr. Burks is to return the child Wednesday morning to the daycare before 9.
Yes, ma'am.
And if Monday and Tuesday, would that be a little bit easier for you to do in order to come in from Dallas over the weekend and have the child at daycare Monday morning?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. I passed the witness.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I misconstrued what she testified to. I thought she was saying she was dropping it and he was just picking the child up from daycare and not bringing the child back. I missed that part. My apologies.
Oh, it's okay.
There's no problem doing this for the next couple of weeks. And sir, you got no problem doing this for the next couple of weeks, correct?
No, no problem.
All right then. Y'all get that light on some time and we'll get some time to wrap to figure out what the schedule is looking like going forward also. All right then. Yes, sir, Mr. Brem.
I was gonna see if the court had any availability on the 19th in a couple weeks. That's about 2 weeks out. Or I guess 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks out.
Is that spring break week?
I'm not positive about.
That's a regular week. That's a regular week. I've got all day Monday available. I got Monday afternoon available, starting at 1 o'clock, 1:30 on the 17th. That's not Comanche. So yeah, I got Monday afternoon.
That'd be fine. That'd be fine too. I could do the 17th. I already have a hearing with you on the 19th, so I figured we could do it maybe before, well, maybe not before, but maybe after.
Well, Judge, I was not.
The 19th, the 19th is the enforcement docket, so that's not, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Judge, the only issue is I was planning on taking off the 17th because it's my kid's spring break.
All right, that's your spring break. Okay.
Yes, but I was planning on working the 19th for the in-person docket.
So we'll yeah, I mean I'm not opposed to any other AAG handling it if Miss
we can also do the, you know, she's familiar with it. We can still do it on Zoom, you know, just bring your laptop with you, Mr. Brem, or I can set you up at the big screen here. You're going to be here anyway, so we can still do a Zoom hearing on the 19th.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay then.
And Judge, I have a couple more questions for the court.
Go ahead.
I didn't know if the court had finished the rulings because I had questions if you were done.
Well, I was trying to figure out how I'm going to say what the visitation schedule was before I made the rest of my rulings, but I misinterpreted what the pickup and drop was, and so go ahead and ask your questions because it's changed.
Okay, well, just to confirm, for purposes of drafting, the visitation will be mom would drop off at daycare on Monday morning, dad picks up Tuesday evening.
Or anytime on, he picks up on Monday, anytime he wants to.
Okay, Monday anytime he wants to. Okay.
Yeah, but drops off for exchange to mom for the drop off for mom to get the child back is on Wednesdays, not on. So he gets Mondays and Tuesdays with the child, and he drops back off on Wednesday mornings. Correct?
Right. Okay. Yes, you're right.
So.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I did the drug test. I misunderstood you when you were stating that at the last hearing.
Okay, well, we'll get back to all that, ma'am. That might be something we'll take up at the next hearing, but let's get through this part first, okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So then, for drafting purposes, Judge, mom drops off Monday. Dad will pick up from daycare. I'm assuming that he's going to return the child to daycare on Tuesday.
It's up to him.
Or is it, so he can keep the child home?
Hey, it's his visitation. I'm not saying he has to. The child has to be daycare. So yeah.
All right, as long as he returns the child.
But he does have to drop the child off on Wednesday mornings.
Before 9 a.m. Well, daycare opens by 9 o'clock a.m.
All right, is it 9 a.m. on? Y'all been doing this at 9 a.m. on Wednesdays, or y'all been doing it at 7 a.m., ma'am?
The daycare has a cutoff. The child has to be there by 9, or they won't accept them.
Okay, so it has to be on or before 9 o'clock. All right.
What's the name of the daycare in Colleen?
Kids Clubhouse.
Right, and then Judge, like I said, I don't want to overstep the courts, but I'm gonna just, so that maybe the court can rule. Ms. Jackson have requested, electronic communication so that either one of them could be able to talk to the child. I realize the child is 2 years old, but at least FaceTime. And then
Go ahead.
she had also requested, app close for the parties to communicate through app close unless there was an emergency.
All right, well, I'll always order app close. At least I used to until I took that course earlier this week. But yeah, we're still going to go with app close until I find something else. So we'll go with the communication by app close. The electronic visits, it's 2 year. I usually don't give the custodial party visits during the for the 2 days that the non-custodial party has the child, ma'am. Now for the summer, it's an extended visitation, yeah, but not for the a 2-day time frame. So I usually give the non-custodial party electronic visits the Sundays that he doesn't have the child, and obviously that's the norm is the Sundays. But I usually give electronic visits to the non-custodial party on the Sundays that they don't have the child, and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. But since he gets the child the day after, so there'll be if he on any Sunday that he doesn't pick the child up the next day on Monday, he would get electronic visits. But again, he only has a child for 2 days. That's just not practical to grant electronic visits during that time frame.
Okay.
And Judge, I'm sorry, did you say that Mr. Burks will get electronic communications?
He gets his normal electronic visits. Like I said, it's usually on Sunday at 6 p.m. and Wednesday on 6 p.m. But on the Wednesdays and on the Sundays, the Sundays, the day before he picks up the child, he doesn't get it. Get the visitation. Get the electronic visits. And if it's on the Wednesday when he drops off the child, he doesn't get the electronic visits. But on all other Wednesdays and all other Sundays at 6 p.m. he gets it. And that's kind of convoluted as all get out.
So Sundays and Wednesdays, or just Sundays?
It's usually Sundays and Wednesdays. So again, on the Sunday,
it'll be the weeks he doesn't get the child that week.
Yeah.
So it'll be the 2nd and 4th, Judge.
Okay.
Or somewhere, I'll work it out.
So is the visitations every other week?
Oh, yeah, that's another question, Judge. Is it
for the next 2 weeks, we're going to do it every day.
No, correct. But
we're doing it every week. We're just doing it for the next 2 weeks until we come back.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when we come back, sir, you're probably looking at every other week, but we're going to figure that out once Mom gets a little bit better grasp on what her schedule is going to look like. But right now, she says she's got no problem doing it for the next 2 weeks, so we're going to do this for the next 2 weeks. And then we're going to come back on the 19th and try to hammer all this out. I'm going to go ahead and
so reset to 3:19 in the afternoon, maybe, or
I'm going to keep the same Zoom code, and I'll move the Zoom code to 3 o'clock on the 19th. That's where, it's the enforcement docket. We're usually pretty much wrapped up before then. It's a recess commitment docket, so yeah.
Yes, yeah. 3:19 or 3 p.m. Sorry.
3 p.m. on 3/19, and it's going to be the same Zoom code. Now, I was looking at the old child support amounts, but I think the state. My calculations were all made based on that Dad was working 40 hours a week. Were those your calculations also, Miss Kelly? I know Mom was talking about the other job also.
Yes, Judge. I based it on the exact amount of hourly rate that he said, but I did base it on 40 hours. So I can recalculate if the court wants me to.
All right. What's it based on the 30 hours he actually works?
Okay, let me 937. And then hold on, Judge. I need to look at the so Mom was requesting reimbursement for medical. And she had requested $349 a reimbursement. So let me recalculate what his 9% is.
I believe 349 would exceed 9%.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Give me a second, Mr. Brem. I'm going. Yeah, let me calculate the numbers. Hold on.
Prior to any deductions, I got $437 a month.
Okay, give me a second. I need to go back and make sure I get his hourly. It was 19, what did he say, 1945?
It comes out to 28.50 in gross income, and then you know,
25, 28.50.
and then we have
Okay, hold
to
on, 25, 28.50 times 0.19. So Judge, if the court goes with the full 9%, it would be 227.56.
Okay.
And then it would put child support at $395 with the 227.
yeah, I got you said, what did you say, 390 what?
395.
Okay, I got 392, but it's not that big of a difference.
$3, yeah, that's not gonna be, no big work.
Yeah.
All right, then, and again, we'll do that for the month of March only. Again, we'll probably look at something else going forward. Here's the deal, sir. I'm supposed to look at what your actual earnings were or have been over the last 12 months to determine your child support going forward. So if you worked at 2 jobs last year, then I'm supposed to look at what your actual earnings were, because that shows that you could actually earn that amount, and the court may go ahead and order that amount as the final child support amount when we come back next month. But I just want to give you a heads up on that. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and grant order that you pay the $395 child support. It's due the first of the month, and the cash medical again was $227.50. What?
Judge, we can just do it 227.
227 even. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
And
All right.
then
Go ahead.
those support, everything will start on March 1st, Judge?
Yeah.
Okay. And then let me see if there's any other issues. Then I know Miss Jackson mentioned this already, but she had the concern about Mr. Brem, I'm sorry, not Mr. Brimhall, Mr. Burke's using marijuana. So would the court consider at least putting in there that he's not to consume any alcohol or illegal substances prior to or during his possession?
No alcohol.
I know there was mentioned a possible drug test.
Oh yeah, everybody's taking a drug test. And anytime somebody brings this up, that's why I pointed at Litems. That's why, and I had that Litem set up the drug testing at the facility in Harker Heights. Any test now, or the one in, I think they got one in both Killeen and Harker Heights, Mr. Brem, whichever one works. But we're gonna go ahead and order both parties in there to do hair follicle. You do the bill to me, and if everybody comes back negative, nobody has to pay the Bell County back. If somebody comes back positive, they're paying Bell County back.
Right,
Okay.
so it gets billed to the county, and what is the deadline for them? I'm not sure what type of test Ms. Jackson already did, but what is the deadline, Judge, for them to do that? Or can they work that out with Mr.
Well,
Brimhall?
I want a hair follicle test, so that means, and I want the deadline for that test to be done. That usually, how soon do they usually get that back from
So,
every
From the time they take it, it's usually a 3 to 5 day turnaround on the results, and it's
Yeah,
usually pretty fast nowadays. So it's usually
Oh, yeah.
the 3 days than 5. But
all right, so we're coming back here on the 19th, so I would want that
Yeah.
done before the
probably like
next Friday. I want it done before the Friday, the 7th of March. That way I know it's coming back in plenty of time. All right, folks, I'm ordering everybody to take my drug test, not the one, and that way I can make sure the chain of custody is followed. And that, in other words, that's legal mumbo jumbo, which means it could actually come into evidence. And
and I can email both parties the details about how and where and all that.
All right, good enough then. All right, and that facility is open on Saturdays until noon and 5 o'clock every day. So obviously, and if mom needs one more convenient to her in Dallas, Mr. Brem, you can use one. These things are statewide, so you can get one up in Dallas for her. Okay.
Your Honor.
Yes,
Yes,
Judge.
ma'am.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I've already taken my test because to my misunderstanding from last time, I thought you had already ordered it. So I had already taken it, and they faxed it over to your office this morning.
Okay. Well, again, ma'am, I got to see. You can get a copy
I'll
of that.
take a look at it.
Okay.
And see if it's sufficient. And what was the hair follicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, then we'll see if it meets the criteria. That's why I was that chain of command thing I was talking about. Not chain of command. I'm sorry, I'm not in the military.
Any
God.
custody. Yeah.
Chain of custody. I hear chain of
Right.
command, I hear chain of custody. So if it meets it, ma'am, then fine. If not, then you might have to do it again. But I'm
Okay.
paying for this one. Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, and Judge, I don't know if the court is strict about like if it's a 10 panel. I don't know if there's difference about what type of hair follicle test you're
It's
requesting.
usually a 10 panel, but as of yesterday, I got an 8 panel one, which was a little different. But anything 8 or above, Mr. Brimhall, whatever I think it's a 10 panel though.
Okay. All
I
right.
think hair follicle is automatically a 10 panel, but yeah, it makes sure it's at least a 10 panel or 8 to 10 panel.
And then also, Judge, Ms. Jackson had requested her new address not be included in this order. Can we at least reserve that?
I'll reserve
Until
I will reserve non-disclosure as far as both parties are concerned for final hearing, or at least the next hearing.
And then could I confirm with both parties that I can include at least their email address and phone number so that Mr. Brimhall can also have it and be in the court's file?
Yes,
ma'am.
you can do that. And also, if Mr. Brimhall wants to meet with them individually before they get out of here today in a breakout
Yes.
room, we'll allow that. You're a co-host, Mr. Brimhall?
I'm not. But I'm not.
Ms. Walker, please make Mr. Brimhall a co-host. Thank you. I'm only a co-host on this thing today, so yeah.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Oh, and then Judge, one more. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Conservatorship. What are we doing with conservatorship right now?
All right, I'm gonna go ahead on a temporary basis until we clear out the thing dealing with possible family violence indicators. I'm gonna go ahead and temporarily make mom sole MC, make dad possessory, but give him all the rights of possessory under the Texas Family Code, which covers pretty much everything. So, but again, that's only for the temporary order, because again, the testimony I got may have put this past the 2-year threshold. One way or the other. So for right now, she's sold, he's possessory, but he gets all the rights under possessory conservatorship under the family code. Okay.
And then geographic restriction.
Well, that's kind of late for that one, but yeah, I'll keep a geo restriction in. You know, nobody's allowed to leave the state of Texas with this child until further order of the court.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I'm sorry, the Eastern time zone, the Central time zone of the state of Texas.
Okay.
You can't transfer to El Paso, man.
Okay, sir.
All right. All right. Anything else then, Ms. Taylor?
No, I think we have addressed all the issues.
All right. Again, sorry for the confusion, guys. Again, it was the court had the information wrong on the docket sheet. I'm gonna go to you, Mr. Burke. You were not here last time. You didn't hear all the testimony that was done. But again, we're gonna go ahead and do this temporary order today. We're gonna set this up for the visitation for the next couple of weeks. And mom's agreeing to go with this. But again, this is liable to change at the end because y'all's circumstances are very different from most people who are here today. But anyway, we'll deal with that at the next hearing, at least hopefully. So, sir, questions?
No.
All right. All right, then, folks. I'm going to go ahead
Well,
and
Judge,
yeah.
hold on before you release us. I do have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Mom, Miss Jackson had requested a 24-hour notice that he was going to actually do his visit. Do you want to include that or not?
Not on this one.
Okay.
It's carved. These next visits are carved in stone, and they're part of the court order.
Okay. And
the
then
the necessary time frame, and I usually make it a lot earlier than 24 hours. But go ahead.
okay. And then do you want to include that neither one of the do you want to include anything about the Mr. Burke's not consuming alcohol or illegal substances, or just
Put that as to both parties. No, but within 24 hours of starting, no one's to use any type. I don't like that, but I'll go ahead and put it in there because it's just a temporary. But yeah, nobody gets to use an illegal substance or drink or use alcohol 24 hours ahead of visitation and during visitation. At the end of this thing, I would probably remove the alcohol one, but obviously keep the non-sanctioned substances by the state of Texas. Okay.
okay. That would be it, Judge. Thank you. Sorry about that.
All right. Any questions, Ms. Jackson?
No, sir.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and go off the record. Let the state prepare that order. Again, apologies for the confusion. Again, Mr. Burks, I thought you were a full-time 40-hour plus employee at Southwest, and but we'll go ahead and we'll work through this. And I'm going to let Mr. Brimhall talk to y'all individually in breakout rooms to get any additional information he needs. And we're off the record at this time. Thank you both very much, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll go ahead and generate. What I'm going to go ahead and do is save this Zoom code. I'm going to rename it at the end of the day, but this is going to be the same Zoom code that you'll need to log in on the 19th. Okay.
Okay.
Judge,
Thank you, Judge.
I'm sorry. One more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you ordering Mr. Burks to comply with the state's request for protection?
I'm asking both parties to comply, I'm ordering both parties to comply with the state's request for production. And Mr. Brem, you can go over that list with them when you're talking to them in the breakout room, okay?
Yes, Judge.
Is there a deadline for that? Do you want that before the 19th as well?
All right, they both have until, let's see, the deadline on the drug test is the 7th. They both have to the 14th at 5 p.m. to get you that information via email, fax, or any other appropriate, or if they mail it early enough in the week, snail mail. But it has to be in to the AG's office and a copy to the at Litem on or before the 14th day of March.
Okay. Now I'm done. Sorry again.
All righty. Thank you both very much. And like I said, we're off the record.